Hey guys, this is Rama here. It's been a while since I did a lesson, so I decided to do a harmonic analysis of a Beatles song. So I was learning all the songs of Abbey Road, and I came across Because, which is on the side 2 of Abbey Road. And I looked online for a harmonic analysis of the song. I couldn't find any, which is why I decided to do this lesson. So before I go on, I'd like to let you guys know that in order for you to understand this lesson, you need to have a basic understanding of harmony, or else this is not going to make any sense. So the song is a song written by John Lennon, and I read online that Yoko Ono was playing Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and that gave John the inspiration to write this song. And if you listen to the song too, it's got a very melancholic, classical kind of a vibe to it. So let's get started. The song. Oh, also, I'm using a capo on the fourth fret of the guitar just to make it easier for me to play this. The song is played on a harpsichord. So this is just interpreted onto the guitar. It makes it easier to play with the capo on the fourth fret. So the song is in the key of C sharp minor, which is the sixth chord in the scale of E major, right? But if you listen to the song, it's a sad, melancholic song. So I'm going to refer to C sharp minor as the key of the song. So it starts off in C sharp minor and it goes. So what I'm doing there is nothing fancy. I'm playing a C sharp minor, and every now and then I'm embellishing the flat third on the chord. So I'm going. Right? So the next chord moves on to a D sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is the 2 chord in the scale of C sharp minor. So, and it goes to a G sharp major. Now the G sharp major is not in the scale of C sharp minor, but if you look at your classical minor 2-5-1 progression, it always goes minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished 7th, going to a 5, resolving into a minor 1, right? But in this case, he does a minor 7 flat 5, D sharp minor 7 flat 5, going into a G sharp major, which is acting like a 5 chord. But instead of resolving back into the C sharp minor, which usually happens in a minor 2-5-1, he goes G sharp major with a deceptive cadence up to A major, which is back in the key of C sharp minor now, right? So it fools your ears, which is why it's called a deceptive cadence. It's got a G sharp major, which makes your ears seem like it's resolving back into 1, but it goes up to A major, right? So what we've got so far is back to C sharp minor 1 chord. Okay, so now after this, it moves back into A major, but it's an A. So what he does in the song is he's playing an A dominant 7, coming down to an A13, which is also a dominant chord with an extension of a 6 up an octave, so A13. So he goes. So this is a chord which is not in the scale of C sharp minor again. So what's happening here is this is acting like a secondary dominant. So a secondary dominant is not your naturally occurring dominant in any scale. So this is a dominant which is not in the scale. So which is why it's called a secondary dominant, and it resolves into D major. So it's acting like a 5 of D major, right? So in D major is again a chord which is not in the scale of C sharp minor. So lots of chords which are borrowed from different scales. So now he's modulated to the key of D major. Okay, so that A dominant 7 and A13 is acting as a 5, a secondary dominant 5, resolving to the key of D major. Right, so now, so he goes. And then. So that chord chord right there, what I just played, is a D diminished chord, right? So a diminished chord is a 1, flat 3, flat 5. So what's happening here is, again, there's another chord which is not in the scale. So this works well because diminished chords generally in music, if you notice it, always works uh, well when it if it appears as a passing chord. So it's acting as a chord half step above the root, and it resolves back down into the root. So that's how diminished chords are usually used. It's used half step below the root or half step above the root, resolving back into 1, which is the top of the song. So that's one way to look at it, as a diminished chord resolving into 1. Or you can also look at the diminished chord as a rootless G sharp altered dominant chord. That also makes sense because the G sharp, then you can say it's resolving back into the minor 1, right? So this is, if you want to analyze it, this is a G sharp with a flat 5, and so that guy is a sharp 9. So it's like a flat 5 sharp 9 G sharp dominant chord, altered dominant chord, right? So the verse just keeps looping around this section. So let me play the whole verse once for you. And comes back into that. So that's what it usually does on the song. But now there's a bridge. So now from that diminished chord that we just played, so there's that note which is not actually part of the diminished chord, but you can say that it's off the half-whole diminished scale. So it just goes. So that's the landing note. So that's just a passing note that is there from the half-whole diminished scale. So now the bridge is a whole different key. So the bridge moves into the parallel major key. So now we're in C sharp minor. Parallel major is C sharp major. So that's another common songwriting technique which is borrowed from classical music, which a lot of people use. So I'm in the key of C sharp minor, but now I've moved into the key of C sharp major. Although the chord I'm playing is not going to be C sharp major, it's an F sharp major, which is the 4th chord in C sharp major. So he goes from the diminished chord into the new key of the bridge. 4 chord going into the 5 dominant chord. The sharp 5 alteration, and then so that's the 5 chord, and it resolves back into the top C sharp minor again. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole harmonic analysis of the Beatles song. As you can see, there's barely any chords which are being used from the actual scale of C sharp minor, and lots of borrowed chords and modulations, which the Beatles are very famous for doing. So it's a cool thing to check out some Beatles songs and start harmonically analyzing these songs to learn some cool songwriting tips. So I hope this lesson was helpful, and stay tuned for more harmonic goodness. Thank you.